The Guam Chamber of Commerce has come out against Bill 61, otherwise known as the Guam Tropical Energy Code. The measure was introduced by Senator Tom Atta and was passed by lawmakers on February 1st. Chamber Chairman Peter Sgro.
As a chamber, we're very concerned not only for our membership, but the community at large, because this does have an economic effect.
Bill 61, referred to as the GTEC, sets a baseline standard that addresses energy-efficient requirements for the design, materials, and equipment used in nearly all new building constructions and renovations. In a letter to Governor Eddie Calvo Tuesday, the Chamber urged for a veto because of concerns on how changing the code would increase costs and how an economic impact statement wasn't conducted.
Even if he had 10 public hearings, even if he had 100 public hearings, the law is really clear that an economic impact statement has to be prepared prior to the rule being submitted and transmitted to the legislature. So you can't introduce a bill until the economic impact statement is done.
Sgro adds because there wasn't an EIS, the Chamber didn't bother coming out to the public hearing.
And to go to a meeting and to go to a discussion and just read about a code that forces it down the throats of our people, it made no sense to participate.
Sgro's statements and the letter written to the governor, however, state two different things. In the letter signed by Sgro and President David Letty, it states, quote, "The public didn't have an adequate opportunity to participate in the public hearing," end quote. Senator Tom Atta says 6 different public hearings were held. Guam Building Code Council Chairman Brent Weesey, one of several professionals who worked on the bill, even personally invited the chamber to provide input.
So to go through all that, go through the legislative process, they had a hearing, they had a vote at the legislature, they approved it, and not participate in the process at all, but to come at the 11th hour and to make a big stink is really disappointing.
Senator Tom Atta was unavailable for further comment, but in a release stated he was surprised and disappointed by the chamber's sudden change of position. He states a meeting at the chamber last week with his staff and Weesey, Sgro indicated he was supportive of the bill and would even be writing to the governor urging its passage. Sgro says that's not true, stating he never attended any meeting.
I'm a little disappointed as well that the senator in his press release said I attended a meeting. And he also said that I met with his staff, and he also said that I was going to put it in writing that I was going to support this bill.
Weesey, on the other hand, says a meeting did happen and Sgro was there.
I met with them. I met with them on the 29th of January.
With Mr. Sgro?
Yes.
And he indicated his support?
At the meeting, yeah.
So this kind of is surprising to you then?
Yes.
KUAM called Chamber President David Letty for comment about the meeting, but he declined to comment. We see further response to Sgro's allegations that a group of people, namely architects and engineers, will financially gain from this code at the loss of the people of Guam. He says those claims are baseless.
The minimum requirements to apply to building is stuff that's being done on drawings anyways. It is really not a economic generator for any engineer or architect. The fees on the island are tight. Competition's tough. So nobody's going to be getting rich off of this.
The governor has one more day to act on Bill 61 before it lapses into law. Weesey hopes the governor won't veto the bill, saying, quote, "It's a win-win for the island." Weesey adds he would be shocked if he did veto the bill, considering it's in line with his directives and his recent presidential appointment.
This is consistent with the governor's Guam Energy Task Force. This is a key step in that process. The governor's been appointed by President Obama to be part of another energy saving task force, and this is consistent with that. So
we should add during the public hearing, over a dozen professionals testified in support, including the Guam Realtors Association, the Guam Power Authority, the Guam Energy Office, and the University of Guam. 2 individuals testified against Bill 61, including businessman Al Israel, who stated the intentions of the policymakers are good, but adopting a model code developed stateside won't take into account the unique characteristics of Guam. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.